At MathsG, we believe that every learner deserves support while studying at home. If a learner gets stuck and doesn't have anyone to help them, they should be able to go onto our platform and get answers. That's why we do everything for free. So let's look at this problem that we have today. It was asked in the grade 8 maths section, and it says, complete the following table, classify each number correctly. So we've got a table where we've got numbers in the first column, and then we have the categories, that is the sets of numbers, the natural numbers, integers, rational, irrational, real, imaginary. So -3, how do we classify that? -3 would be an integer, right? It would be an integer. Then 4 pi, remember pi is an irrational number, right? So an irrational number times a rational number gives us irrational. So it would be an irrational number. Then the square root of -7, because 7 is not a perfect square, and it's negative, that means that this is going to be an imaginary number. That's where you put the eyes and all that, but we're not looking at it right now. It's out of scope. And then the square root of 36 is 6. So it's a natural number. You could also call it an integer or a rational number as well. So you find that it qualifies in all the different categories, and it's also a real number. So -3 is also a real number. 4 pi, in as much as it's irrational, is also a real number. So it's important for you to actually classify the subsets. So don't just say -3 is an integer and stop there, but -3 is an integer that is rational and also real, right? Rational because it can be written as -3/1. So that's the thinking right there. And then 4 pi is irrational and also real. It's a real number, it's not imaginary. Then that's an imaginary number. And this is a natural number, which is also an integer, which is also rational, which is also real. So it's important. Now let's see what the answers here are. So we have Mr. Joshua Mwanza, who has answered this question, and he says that -3 is an integer that is rational, that is real, right? Then 4 pi is an irrational real number. Then -7 is as the square root of -7 is an imaginary number. And the square root of 36 is a natural number, which is also an integer, which is also a rational and a real number. So I hope that you go and look up these different sets, the natural numbers, integers, rational, what their definitions are, and then use that to classify these numbers. So thank you very much, and I hope you learned something from this.